Hi, I'm Trev Hutchings, and this is how to export your song from your Cakewalk Next project to your computer as an audio file. Click on File. Then click on Export Audio. Now in this first section, we've got the source, and that is currently set to master. And if you click on the drop-down list, you'll see that you've got other options. But to export your whole song, you want to leave this on master. The next section says range, but if you try to click on time selection or loop region, you can't select them. So that is just going to be entire project. The next section we've got is format, and if you want a high quality recording, you're going to want to set the file type to WAV, or if you want a demo song or a song you can share with other people that is a small file size, click on the file type drop list and then click on MP3. But here I want top quality, so I'm going to click on the drop list again, and I'm going to click on WAV. Now the next drop list is sample rate, and if you are downloading your song for CD, then you want to set this to 44,100 Hz. So click on the drop list and click on 44,100 Hz. Otherwise, click on the sample rate drop list and click on 48,000 Hz. And this will give you a better quality recording. The next drop list is bit depth, and if you are recording for CD, you want to set this to 16-bit. So click on the drop list and click on 16-bit. Otherwise, click on the bit depth drop list and click on 24-bit. Now the next drop list is dithering. Now depending on how your project is set up will depend on whether you need dithering. Now my project is set up at 48,000 Hz, and as you can see next to the sample rate it says device, which means I've selected the project sample rate of 48,000 Hz. And I've set my project to a bit depth of 24 bits. And because I've now set the sample rate and the bit depth to the same ones as my project, I can leave dithering set to none. But if the sample rate and bit depth here is different to my project, then I would click on the drop list and then click on triangular. And basically what dithering does is when your project sample rate and bit depth is different to the format sample rate and bit depth that you want to export to, it has to convert the sample rate and the bit depth, and when it does so it uses a process called dithering. So if they are different, you want to set dithering on. But here I'm using the same settings, so I'm going to click on the dithering drop list and click on none. Now we also have this normalize section, and the first option is none. So this means that when you export your song, it will be exported exactly how you've mixed it. The next one you can click on is peak. So if I click on peak, what this will do is it will change the volume setting of your mix when it's recorded down to this song, so that the peak value or the highest volume of your song reaches the target level. And you'll notice at the bottom here we have this target level drop list. And if I click on the target level drop list, then if you've set it to peak, I would recommend clicking on -1 dBFS. Now the third option you've got in Normalize is RMS. So if I click on RMS now, RMS will set the average volume level of your song. Now if you're going to do this, you're going to need to know a fair bit about mixing. But if you want to try it, I would suggest if you do set RMS on, click on the drop-down target list. Now you'll notice you've got these numbers up here, which are these fixed ones, and you've also got this custom one down the bottom here. Now how I got the custom one is if I now click on -12 dBFS, that's actually going to be quite low. So I think if you've mixed your song well, then if you now double click where it says the -12, you can type in -6 and then press the enter key. And that's how I got this custom number come up. So now I've set it to -6 dBFS. And if you've set up your mixing in your song pretty good, then -6 dBFS should be okay. You shouldn't end up with any clipping in your song, but it rather depends on your mixing. So only choose RMS if you know what you are doing when it comes to mixing. Otherwise, I would suggest clicking on peak and then click on the target level and then click on -1 dBFS. Now next to export at the bottom here, we've got this drop list. And if I click on the drop list, you'll see we've got these three come up. Well, the first one, bypass effects and mixer settings, is actually grayed out, so you can't select that option. Now include effects tails sounds like a good option to have, and I would normally in a DAW suggest clicking on it to include it. But I actually find that it makes no difference in Cakewalk Next because the effects tails are included anyway. So I'm not really sure what that's doing. And the final one here is make mono. So if you want a mono version of your song to check what it sounds like when someone plays it through just one speaker, you can click on that to make your song mono. Otherwise, in normal context, I wouldn't have that one clicked. And then finally, once you've made all these setting changes and you're happy, you can then click on export. And then here you get the option to change the name. So I've got loop sample demo in there at the moment, which is the project name. So I can just put, say, 1 on the end. So I've got loop sample demo 1. And that will be now the name of the song when it's downloaded. The other thing you can do here is set where it gets saved to. Now, by default, it gets saved to the export folder, and the export folder is inside the Cakewalk Next project folder for your project. And then you just need to click on save. So lastly, what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to go back up, click on File, click on Export Audio again, and I've just saved it as a peak version. And if I now just save it with Normalize set to none, and then if I go up and do that again, but this time select RMS with this -6 dBFS custom, and then export that one. I'll put that as RMS. What I can do now is if I add some audio tracks, and call this one peak, none, and this one RMS. Then if I import these songs in, you can see from the images of these three that my original mix, which is this one here, the middle one, isn't quite as loud as the peak version. The peak version has increased the volume on the output recording. And then you see the RMS one is actually louder still. And if I solo each one to play them, you'll hear the difference. So this is the original mix. And if you watch the master output here, you'll see how it fares against not clipping. So we're getting there to about -4 on the master track. Now if I do the same again with the peak and watch the master volume again, yes, the song is louder and it's getting to between -2 and -1 on the master level. That's louder, but it's staying unclipped. Then if I do the RMS one, if I play that now, you can see that's really getting very, very close to 0 dB FS. So it's very, very close to clipping. So that's why I say if you're going to use RMS, you're going to need to understand your mix and how high you can go without clipping your song. If you enjoyed this video, do give us a thumbs up and click on that subscribe button. Cheers!